Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Stedman. In this video I want to teach you how to knit this beautiful sweater. It's made with two perfect squares. It's very easy to do. I hope you guys like it and give it a try, and here is the list of material you're gonna need to make it. To make this sweater of a perfect square, this is the yarn I'm gonna use. Is Barcelona Big from Loose and Thread. It's a new yarn at Michael's. I don't know if they have it in other stores. It's 250 grams or 375 meters. It's bulky 5. The color is tapestry, and it's 100% acrylic, and we're gonna need 2 for this size. The netting needles are 8 millimeters. You can use a straight or circular needles. And you're gonna need 2 markers, tapestry needle and scissor, and a piece of paper or pen to keep track of your rows. So this is the squares that we're gonna do, and I'm in love with this yarn. Is amazing. So I cast on for this size 107 stitches. So you have to have a number that you can divided by 2 plus 1. You have to have odd numbers. So I did 53 for one side, 53 for the other one, plus 1 for this extra for the center. That was my 107. For example, if you want the square bigger, you can do 60 and 60 plus 1. So it will be 121 stitches. You have to have, in a way, even numbers for the side plus 1 extra for the center when you do the decrease. So I start with 107 and I finish with 3 stitches at the end. So from the first ball of yarn of this square, I have all these left over, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna have exactly the same design as this one if I continue working with this ball of yarn. So what I'm gonna do is leave this one for the sleeves and then start my next square with my new ball of yarn, hoping to get exactly the same design. To do the perfect square, I'm gonna do it with these smaller needles and with this white yarn, and instead of the one that we are working for this piece, so it'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna cast on only 27 stitches. But remember, for the one that I'm making, I'm casting on 107. Okay? So for the 27, I'm going to wrap 27 times here. To have a tail long enough for casting on. I'm going to do a slip knot. And I'm going to cast on 27. Remember, you have to have the same amount for either side plus 1. So this one 27, that will be 13 for one side, 13 for the other one, plus 1 for the center. That is my 27 stitches. And that's why I cast on for the big one 107. 52 and 53 and 53, and 1 for the center. Okay. So I will meet you here when I have my 27 stitches. For the big piece, when you have 52 stitches, you're gonna place your marker. Okay, and then you're gonna do 3 in the center. You're gonna place the marker, and you're gonna do 52 in the other side of the marker. That way, when you do the marking of these stitches in here, because we're working with so many stitches, you will know where to do the decrease. Stitches like this, you don't need it, but I'm going to show you how to work with the markers in the center. That way it's easier for you to do the bigger piece. So in here, I placed 12 and 3 and 15, and then I had to do 12 on the other side. That's my 27 stitches. So remember, you will do 52 and 3 in the center. that will be 55 and 52 on the other side. That will give you your 107. Okay, so for me it's 12, 3 and 12. That's 27. Once you finish the casting on, you're gonna do a knot at the end to secure the stitch, and the first row gonna be a purl row all the way to the end. So when you're working your piece, when the tail is in the front, that row gonna be a purl row, no decrease. And then when you're working on the other side, where you don't have the tail in the front, you always do the decrease in the center. Okay, 3 together and a purl stitch. So you're gonna do the odd numbers gonna be purl, and the even number purl with a decrease in the center. So you're gonna purl this one all the way to the end. So that was row number 1. Now in row number 2, you're gonna purl your stitches, but you're gonna purl until you have one in here before the first marker. Okay, so I mentioned that you need 2 markers, and really you're gonna need 3 markers. That way it will be easier for you to work with your markers. Okay, so you're gonna purl your stitches until you have one left before the marker, the first marker. So now when you're gonna need the other marker, you're gonna place it here. You're gonna purl this one. You're gonna remove that marker, and then you're gonna do these 3 together with the purl stitch. And then you're gonna remove the marker, do the next purl, and then you're gonna place the marker again in here to have 3 in between the markers. And then you're gonna continue doing a purl stitch all the way to the end. So I finished row number 2. Now we're going to work on row number 3. And since I have the tail in the front, that means the row number 3 is going to be a purl row all the way to the end. I finished row number 3. Now in row number 4, we're going to do the repetition of row number 2. This time, I'm going to purl 10 stitches, and between 10 and 11, I'm going to place the marker, because now we have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 in this side. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the other side, and the 3 in the center. Okay? So I'm gonna purl 10 stitches, and for you will be in between between the stitch 51 and 52 that you're gonna place the marker. Okay. Now I'm going to place the marker, do a purl. I'm going to remove that marker, and I'm going to do these 3 together in a purl stitch. I'm going to remove the next marker, do another purl, and then I'm going to place my marker back, and I have 3 stitches between the markers, and I'm going to continue with the purl stitch all the way to the end. Now in row number 5, you're going to purl all the way to the end without any decrease. Once you finish that row of purl, again you're gonna do the same repetition of row number 2, but now you'll have to do 9 purl, and between 9 and 10 you will place the marker, do the 3 in the center together, and then remove this marker, do the purl, and then you'll have 9 stitches at the end. And that's the repetition that you're gonna do for your square until you have only 3 left. And your needles, that will be the 3 in the center. But as I work with the big one, I will show you, okay? Now you have one left, and you're gonna place the marker. So you're gonna purl this one. Remove that marker. So these 3, you're gonna purl them together. So now you have 2, and here you're gonna remove the marker. Purl the next one. You have 3, and you place the marker back. That way you have only 3 in the center in between the markers. And you're going to continue purl this row all the way to the end and go back with the row of purl. And if you look at your square, already start to look like a perfect square. You will have the same amount of stitches in this side and this side, and the rows on either side of the square. So it's going to be a perfect square. I'm gonna start my next row of purl all the way to the end, and then in the next row you're gonna have to do a decrease again. So once you finish the row of purl, you're gonna go back to repetition of row 2. You're gonna do your purls until you have 1 stitch before the marker, and then in between that last stitch and this one you're gonna place the new marker, and then you're gonna do these 3 together, remove this marker, do another one, and then you'll have 3 stitches again inside the 2 markers, and then you do the rest purl. Come back with the row purl and do those repetitions until you have 3 stitches left on your needle. So let me show you here in the big one. So I start in here, you see I have the tail, okay, in here, like so. Here's the tail, and that's my guide to know when I'm working just purl row, so when the tail is in the front. And this is my 53 stitches, 1 in the center and 53 stitches on the other side. And then here is the decrease, you see, all the way until here, that you're going to end up with 3 stitches. But as I work, I will show you how we're going to be working this and how to finish in here the end of the square. After that, you have to make 2 squares exactly the same with the same amount of stitches. And if you like, you can do a sleeve, or you can leave it just like this. Just sew them in the shoulder, leaving the opening for the head and the opening for the arm, and you will have a blouse instead of a long sleeve little sweater. And this big one I'm working now in row 18. I did row 17, and you see, like I mentioned, it's easier to have the markers, even 3 markers, to work these. And here in the center, that way you know where to do the decrease, because there's so many stitches gathered in here that sometimes you just go by without realizing you're supposed to do the decrease. And having the marker is a lot of help. So remember, always the decrease is when you're working in the wrong side of the piece, and the wrong side of the piece is when the tail is in the back of the needle, and the even number. Okay, and the even number, you do the decrease, in the odd number you just do purls. I don't think I'm gonna have the same color exactly as this one, the color combination, but at least have the same tones of color. But there's not much I can do about that, but it starts to look really nice. When you finish row 18, you will end up with 43 stitches in the front, the 3 in the center, and 43 on the back. So you're going to continue doing 1 row of decrease, and 1 row with all purls, and then another row with a decrease only in the center, and on until you have only the 3 in the center left. And when I'm closer to that, I will meet you here with this bigger one to show you how you're going to finish. So we'll get there. I think it's 105 row that we have to do, or 106, around that, and we only done this is going to be row 19, so it's quite a few more to go. So I've done 85 rows so far, and I still have a few more to go in here, but I just want to show you how the colors, they are not exactly the same design, but that don't matter, because one gonna be for the back and one for the front. It's not like the 2 of them gonna be for the front or the back. So I like this one more for the front because the design have a more definition to it, and then this will be for the one for the back. But I'm almost done, so when I have only a few left, I will show you how you're gonna finish your square. Here I have 9 stitches still, 3 in the in this side, 3 in the center, and 3 in the other side of the marker. So I still have to do quite a few rows. I had to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or around 8 rows to finish this up, because you're gonna end up with only 3, and then you're gonna finish those 3. Here I have one before the marker. I'm gonna purl that one. I'm gonna remove the marker, and I'm gonna do these 3 together. Remove the other marker and do the last purl. So I have 3 stitches on my needle. You're gonna turn your work around, and you're gonna do 3 purls. One, 2, and 3. Turn your work around again, and now you're gonna do these 3 together. You're gonna end up with a loop. You're gonna cut a strand of yarn long enough for sewing the shoulder, and you're gonna pass it through the loop. Now you're gonna cut a strand of yarn in here, and then you done your first piece, and go ahead, do your second piece, and I will meet you here to finish, to continue working on it. Here I made one of my sleeves. Very easy to do. So what I did for my sleeve, I started here, and I cast on 32 2 stitches. So I'm gonna measure the length. To figure the length of your sleeve, you have to measure your arm. I asked my husband for help to measure my arm. I measure from here, from my wrist to where my seam of my clothes go under the arm, and I measure 47 centimeters, and I give my sleeve 47 centimeters. So what I did, what you have to do is measure your arm, because some of you will have the arm a little bit shorter, some of you longer, so you have to measure your arm before you do your sleeves. That way you have the perfect length. So I start here with 32 stitches, and I did 2 net to purl, 2 net to purl for 10 rows. After that I did 8 rows of purls in the right side, and in the wrong side just purl. And row number 9 I did my 4 increase, and then I work straight those 34 stitches until row 9 that I did again an increase. And then from row 9 I work until row 15, I did another increase, and then row 21. From row 21 to 33 I work straight with no increases, because it's the part from here at the arm that is pretty much the same thickness, at least for mine, so I don't made any increase in that part. And then after that, row 33 I did increase in row 39, 45, 51, 57, 63, and 69. After that I work straight until row 83 that I cast off. So every 6 row I did my increase, except in those parts where I work straight without increases, but I will let you know all the details. So it's very easy to do. And from one ball of yarn I made one of the squares and one sleeve, and I have this left. So I will do the same with the other one that I have here. I'm gonna start doing my other sleeve with this one and see how much you have left. To start, you're gonna do a wrap around your needle to leave a tail long enough to cast down your 32 stitches. You're gonna start cast down with a slip knot to create a loop, and the same way that you cast down for the piece, for the squares, you're gonna cast down for the sleeve. So this is the tail, and you're gonna cast on your 32 stitches. Since we're working with the 8mm needle in bulky 5 yarn, 32 stitches, it seems like little, but it stretches a lot. See? So I will meet you here when I have my 32 stitches. I'll finish my cast on of 32. With the tail, I'm gonna tie a little knot here to secure that stitch. And now we're gonna do 2 net, 2 purl, 2 net, 2 purl, 2 net, 2 purl until the end. And that's what we're gonna do for 10 rows for the border here, for the cuff of the sleeve. 2 net, 2 purl, 2 net, and 2 purl. We're gonna do that until the end. 2 and 2. For the second row, you're going to do exactly the same as you did in row number 1. You're going to start with 2 net, 2 purl, 2 net, 2 purl, and you're going to do this repetition for 10 rows. That's what I did for mine in here. So you're going to net the net and purl the purls. So I'm going to work off camera, and I'll meet you here when I have my 10 rows. Here I finished my 10 row of the border of the sleeve and here. So starting now, I'm gonna count from row 1 to 83, and the row 83 we do the cast off for my length. So this 10 row is not part of those 83, okay? So now we're gonna start with row number 1 of purl rows for the sleeve. So this will be row 1. And you're gonna purl back and forth for 8 rows before the first increase. You're gonna purl on the right side and purl on the wrong side of the piece. I finished row number 1. Now I'm gonna work on row number 2, and the even numbers rows is in the wrong side. Is when the tail is in the back of the needle, and when you're working the tail in the front at the tip of the needle, you'll be working the odd numbers. Okay, so you're gonna work for 8 rows purl, and then when we start working on row number 9, I will meet you here to show you how you're gonna increase 1 stitch in the beginning and at the end of that row. I have my 8 row. Now in row number 9 we're gonna do the first increase, and when you finish row number 8, here you're gonna have the yarn from the row before in here, so you're gonna place that one up into your needle, and that will be the first increase. So you're gonna purl that one and holding the second one here, the way don't fall off, and then you're gonna purl the next one. That was the first increase. So now you're gonna continue purling until you have 1 left in this needle. So I'll meet you here to show you how you're gonna do the increase at the end. I have 1 stitch left on my needle, and I'm gonna pass that stitch to this one, and I'm gonna grab the purl from the row before, and I'm gonna pass that one back, and then now you have 2, and then you're gonna do those 2 purl. So exactly the same as you did the increase at the beginning, you did the increase at the end. Now, and instead of 32, you're gonna have 34 stitches on. We're gonna work on row number 10, and it's a purl row. So all the rows are purl. You're now gonna work row 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then row 15, we're gonna do the increase again. So that's every 6th row. And I will meet you here to show you one more time how you're gonna do the increase, and I'm gonna leave here in which row I'm doing my increases, because remember in one part I leave, I think it's 12 row without increase. So I finished row 14. Row 15 is an increase row, so you're gonna grab the strand that you have here under and you'll bring it up. So that's the increase that you're gonna have, and you purl that stitch, and remember to hold this one, that way it don't fall off when you remove this one from your needle. And then you purl that one and continue with your purl until you have 1 left, and then I will meet you here to show you how you're gonna increase again in the last stitch of row 15. I have 1 stitch left, so I'm gonna pass this one, grab the one under, and pass this one back, and then you're gonna purl those 2, 1 and 2, and you finish that row 15. Now you will have 36 stitches on your needle. Okay, so now you're gonna continue working your purl rows until row 21 that you do an increase, and then from row 21 to 33 you're gonna work without increase. In row 33 you increase 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end. Row 39, 45, 51, 57, 63, and 69. After row 69 you're gonna work straight until row 82 doing purl, and row 83 you cast off your stitches. So that's what I'm gonna do in my sleeve, exactly the same as I did in this one. And I'm gonna leave here which row you're gonna do the increase, and at the end you're gonna have 52 stitches on your needle. So I'm gonna work off camera, and then I will show you how to finish my sleeve. Now I'm gonna cast off. So I have all my increase here. So we're gonna cast off in a purl stitch. So you're gonna purl one, purl the next one, and then you cast off the first one on top of the second. And like that you're gonna cast off all your stitches. So make sure when you finish you cut a strand of yarn long enough for sewing the sleeve, and then you're gonna do the other one exactly the same, and I will meet you here to sew all pieces together. When you finish your two sleeves, you'll have 4 pieces, front and back, and 2 sleeves in here. So first we're gonna sew in the shoulders, and then attach the sleeve, and then sew in under the sleeve and in the side. And what I did here, one of these corners is in the front and this side, and the other one in the back and this side in here. So if you want this longer, what I recommend is to come here to the border here and cast on all these stitches, and make sure that you have multiple 4 in here, and do 2 net 2 purl, 2 net 2 purl for like 10 more row, like at that more length in here, like so. Or you can do it after you sew everything. You can cast them on in a circular needle and do more length. That will be what I will do if I want more length. After I finish sewing, try it on if I want more length, and then I will do that with my circular needles. So that will be after. So now we're going to start sewing our shoulders. Here I'm gonna measure the part that I sew so far, and it's 12 centimeters. I'm gonna leave this tail here. I'm gonna start sewing in the other side, 12 centimeters as well. Here I finished sewing the 2 sides, and I left the tails here just in case I need to sew more or remove some stitches. It's better that way. So now we're gonna sew the sleeve exactly the same. You're gonna open this up. This is the right side out, and you're gonna grab one of your sleeve, and this is right side out. You're gonna fold it here in half, and you're gonna mark the center, and you're gonna bring the center in here, and you're gonna pin it here. That way these don't move from place. And do the same in here, and this end, and the same when you start sewing in here, you see, and then you're gonna sew straight to the other end, do the same in the other sleeve, and then it's just to sew the side of the sweater. And here you have to measure once you place the pin or a needle in here. To keep that in place, you mark the length from the center here until here is 23 centimeters. So I have to do the same for the other side. Make sure that I had 23 centimeters when I start sewing in here, okay? And the same you do on the other sleeve. So I finished sewing one of my sleeve completely, and it will look like this. In here under the arm, you see this stripe will go like this, and in here long way like that. So I underestimated the size of my sleeve, and it's a little bit too big for me, like too loose. The length is perfect, but it's a little bit too loose. So if you're watching the video before you do your, the complete video, before you do the sleeve, and you want a little bit smaller, I recommend to do the increase every 10 row and instead of every 6 row. That way you have fewer increase and the sleeve will be a little bit smaller, okay? But if you want it nice and loose, it's perfect like this. So I'm making another sweater by just a jersey, knit in the right side and purl on the wrong side, and it's exactly the same type of yarn, different color, and I love the color. Let me show you what I've done so far. Look at this, and look amazing. This is a little bit smaller, that way it's nice and fitted. And I will try to make the sleeve that is a little bit more fitted in my arm with just a few stitches, nice and tight. But I love this color. So that's one of the other projects that I'll be working soon. So in here you'll match your rows in here. I'm gonna start sewing with this tail until I finish it up, and I start with a new strand and matching every row of purl with a row of purl on the other side. You see, like so. Those little knots that you see for the purl row. And here you see these two stripes of red. We'll match the two on the other side, and you're going to continue sewing till you get to under the arm and then straight down here. I finished mine all the way to the end because I tried it on and this is the perfect length for mine. But if you want it longer, one of the things I recommend is to sew leaving a little opening here, leave the tail there, do the same on the other side, cast on one side first with a straight needle, do a few rows of this, and then do the same on the other side, and then just finish sewing your piece on each side. So I will do this off camera, the sewing, because I already showed you how to do the shoulder, how to attach the sleeve, and it's exactly the same way. We're gonna sew in the side and under the sleeve, okay? So I'll meet you here when I have my piece. I finished sewing my piece here on the side as well, and it's beautifully soft. It's amazing. I love this yarn. So, and here I have to sew a little bit more because it was too big, the opening. And you have the option here to leave it like this, or with a circular needle, just cast on all those pearls, and you can do a color like this up. But for mine, I'm gonna leave it like this, exactly the same in here. I like this length, so I'm gonna measure for you. And this measure 50 centimeters long. And this is the amount of yarn that I have left. I have, from the 2 balls of yarn, I wind them together and I weighed it. I have 111 grams left, so this is enough for a hat, what you have left over, if you don't do the extra length and color. So now I'm gonna put it in my model and I'll show you the end result. This is the end result, and it looks amazing. The sleeves are a little bit loose, but that's fine. Love the design of the yarn. So I hope you guys like it and give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make this piece and you want to send me some picture, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Stedman, and you can find me in my Instagram, Ruby Stedman Crochet. Please share my video with friends and family. That way you help me grow here in YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.